Welcome to my review of the Daiwa Hybrid Supreme Massage Chair, which I recently obtained. Now, I've watched all the other videos on the massage chairs, and quite frankly, they really didn't describe what the massage chair did and what are the different reasons why you would buy such a thing. And so I'm going to go into details. So this video is probably going to be a little bit long, but it's the video that I would have wanted to see before I bought one of these chairs. So let's start with, this is one of the fanciest chairs you can get. The retail price on this chair, if you look on the internet, is $13,500. And that's not even including tax, maybe not even shipping. So it's a pretty safe bet. This is one of the most expensive chairs on the market. But I did buy this at the local state fair, and for some reason they chop like $6,000 off the price or so, and they offered it for say $9,000 instead of $13,000. But that was all in, including taxes and shipping and delivery. So, but it's still a lot. Like, why on earth would you spend $9,000? Plus, they gave me this deal where they said if I were to get the specific demo model that they had there, they would knock $1,000 off. So I said, okay, fine. For $1,000, I can clean the chair. So that brought the price down to still an enormous $8,000, and still, why would I do that? And especially when you can go on Amazon and literally buy something which looks pretty much like this for only $600. So what's the difference between the $600 chair and the $8,000 chair? So we're going to be going over that and why I still went with the $8,000 chair. But first, let's have a look at it. So this particular chair, one of the unique features is that all these chairs have like this footrest thing on it, and normally that just hangs out of the chair and you just see like this big block there. But one of the unique features of this is that it extends all the way out, so it looks completely flowing. So that's one reason why maybe it's so expensive. Another thing when you're thinking about massage chairs is like where you're gonna put it and how you get into it. Now, this thing tilts back, and one of the things that it does is that the entire thing moves forward, so that you don't need to leave a humongous amount of space back here for it to recline. However, you still need a humongous amount of room in the front here for it to tip forward. And it's a little bit awkward, if you're older, to figure out, how exactly you're going to step into this thing, right? So I still really haven't found not a really easy way to step in these things. So if you are mobility limited, you might want to think about that. Now, this particular chair comes with its own like iPad. It's just totally wireless and battery, and it's battery powered. And I don't know why they needed to make it a separate tablet, but it is. Although one of the annoyances is that you actually can't turn it on by actually pressing the screen. Like if this is dark, if I turn this thing off, I press the screen, doesn't turn it on. You have to press this little side button right there to get it on. So that's a little bit of annoyance. Another thing is that this pad is placed right where you might naturally use to grab and get out of the chair, right? And I kind of feel like I'm going to snap this thing off one of these days because it's just like right in the way. So that's probably not the best design. But one of the main things with this chair is that like the $500 chairs is that the feet adjustment down here, this typically is something that you actually have to physically push down with your feet. So all of the cheaper chairs will do that, but let me go ahead and start showing some of the ways that this chair works. So you can see the chair coming forward, and this way it can then start reclining backwards. Okay, so the main feature here that you will not find in the cheaper chairs is that the feet, you can see the feet there, extend automatically. So when you get into it, the chair actually measures you somehow and extends the feet to the correct depth versus the cheaper chairs where you literally have to push it down and keep it pushed down. There's like a spring in here. And so that's how the cheaper chairs work. And when I bought this chair, there are several vendors, and I checked out 3 or 4 other different chairs before I decided that, this is one of the reasons why I picked this chair, because I tried all the others, and it's like 3 little bears. One of the chairs, it didn't actually feel very comfortable. When it was giving you the massage, it was actually kind of painful, right? And you're never going to know that unless you actually sit in a chair. And this is the problem with buying a chair on Amazon, that you basically never had any chance to sit in. And there's really no other place than the fair where they actually display these things so you can actually try them. So it's like, yeah, you could buy the $600 Amazon chair, but it could be a torture rack. And then you'd have to return it. And it's really unclear what the return policies are on a chair that you would buy from Amazon. I noted that some other chair seller said if you want to return the chair, it's like a $250 return fee. And if you ordered a delivery and installation, they would charge you for that as well. And a lot of the reviews are just saying that, well, it's just really hard to return these things depending on which vendor you use. So it's kind of a gamble versus something that I had tried out, and I know it's what it's like, and I liked it. So that's one of the reasons why I went with buying the really expensive chair at the fair, because I kind of knew what I was getting. And it's I don't normally buy like the most expensive name brand, top of the line kind of product, but yet I was doing that, and some of the reasons were that, like no one ever got in trouble for buying IBM, right? If you buy the top of the line thing, it's like, it's probably at least going to work and do the thing that you want to do, versus if you buy the cheap thing, you might not be happy with it, then you might have to upgrade it. In fact, one of the funny stories I had was that as I was, after I had tried this and I was sitting down with the pamphlet, a couple next to me just spontaneously, asked me, you're looking into buying one of those things? Because I said, well, they said that they had bought them and that they really loved it, and that their story was that, they came to the fair and they tried it out, and they waited an entire year before coming back and finally buying it. I guess because the discount is so huge when buying it at the fair. And really their only regret was not buying it a year early, because really all they did was prevent themselves from having a year of benefit from the chair, right? So, and there was another guy when I was trying it out who basically said the same thing. And also that couple actually also had like 2 or 3 of these chairs, because they had to keep upgrading. They bought the cheapest one, and then they just keep on upgrading. So it seemed that the best thing to do would be to not wait a year and just buy the top of the line. That way you only do it once. So, but that's a funny little story, but that helped kind of convince me that this was a purchase I needed, that I could make. And it's like, I know I'm getting it for a lot less than what the website said for it, so it's not like I'm getting ripped off. Another little aspect was that I had recently gotten a pretty decent bonus from my company, and it's like, I was thinking, well, if the only thing you do with your bonus is just stick it under a mattress until you're 90 years old and retiring, and that's like the money that's going to keep you alive for the next month, I mean, what was the point of that? It was like almost like you shouldn't have gotten the bonus because it's not going to make any difference to you. But having a chair like this, it is a major investment, but it is something that I can enjoy right now as the result of, say, getting my bonus. So that's another reason why, it's okay. I mean, I personally had the money. If you didn't have the money and you only had the $600 to buy the Amazon chair, then yeah, I mean that's a different situation, and you could still try the $600 chair. But I went with the premium option. I mean that's certainly a viable thing, and usually my philosophy is to either buy cheap junk or buy exactly what I want. Right? Just try not to buy anything between. And so that was kind of the philosophy of why I bought the chair. Maybe something that you guys want to think about when selecting a chair. Okay, now I'm going to get into the details of exactly what these chairs do. And this is the part that they really don't show on the other videos, okay? And the one main feature of this particular unit that I think the other chairs really cannot do is this super strong stretch. That's pretty much what sold me on this chair, in that it will literally grab hold of your legs and then it will lean all the way back and really stretch you out. Like literally someone is pulling your shoulders while they're pulling your legs, and while the rollers are going. So what first happens when you put it on that program, which is called Hybrid Stretch, is that it does an auto body scan, and this takes annoyingly like a minute and a half. Although while it's doing it, it is starting the massage process. So I'm going to take out these pads. So they come with various pads. This is maybe one reason why it was more comfortable, because it does come with all these pads. And show you the actual machine here. Now, one of the features is that it actually has two sets of independent rollers. You got one on the bottom, you got one on the top, and this one will go up, down, and this one will go into your butt. And but a lot of the chairs will only have a single roller that goes up only this high. So it's like you're getting twice as many rollers in this chair. And the other terms that you might hear are like S-track and L-track, SL-track. So S-track just refers to a machine which only does an up and down and can't really reach your butt. L-track is like what the name implies, is that the track is an L, and so it will go up and down your butt, probably with a single roller. But what this machine will do is that it can actually flatten out. See, the L track is actually stuck in the L pattern, so you can't really lie flat. But this machine, it will actually completely flatten out. So it go like this. It will flatten out, and that's what it does in this HybriFlex program here. So it takes a little while though for it to actually get into that position. Now, curiously enough, that actual stretching motion can only be obtained while you're running this HybriFlex program. There's no manual way that you can tell it to get into that position, because it literally inflates these lower bags to grab onto your leg, it lowers the legs, it grabs onto your shoulders and your hips, and then leans back a long ways, okay? And that's how it gets that. I think it's getting close to actually going into that position. So, but we can kind of see some of the actions here. So this is like a rocking back and forth. And we have just the two rollers here. So the different kinds of massages are based on, say, what these rollers are doing. And you can see that the roller can go back and forth, so that determines a width of the massage. Okay, so now it's starting to go backwards. So it's like grabbing hold of the legs, and it's pulling the legs down. You'll feel this, and it's holding the shoulders down, and then it starts going into the extreme tilt here, where it feels like your head is like lower than the rest of your body, basically. So now it's in this extremely low position. This is giving you a pretty good stretch. And for me, that was one thing I wanted to do because I have one sensitive spot in my back that I've been working on the gym for like an entire year. And it didn't seem to be improving that much. But using this chair for a couple of weeks, I think I felt an improvement that, I can bend over and I don't feel like, one of my vertebrae has got some soreness in it. So I think in that way that it's achieved its goal of providing me with some distinct health benefits that perhaps no other chair could provide. So it gives you the stretch, and then it leans back up. So that is probably the main chair. I mean, I did try other chairs, which also said that they had a stretch, but they didn't have like all of the other features. Like the one that had a stretch, you had the manual foot thing there. Another thing is that the way that these arm airbags work is that the cheaper ones, they just have one single airbag on the top and the bottom, and there's not that much pressure pushing these on. But this chair has 3 distinct and very powerful airbags. I mean, if you got it set up for the maximum pressure, it's like it would literally squeeze the blood out of your hands so much, But you can vary that pressure. But as a computer programmer, I wanted to have something that has the maximum massage capability on the arms, and this has much superior capabilities compared with the other chairs. Okay, so that is an explanation about how the HybriFlex works. Now, going into even more detail, I'm going to show you what each of the settings do here on the chair, so you can get an idea. So if you have a particular problem that you want to work on, whether the chair is going to work for you, okay? So we're waiting for it to reset. And it's going to scoot its way back. You can see it scoot its way back. But we basically sweep over here, and we have something called options, adjustments, and manual. But actually, none of these labels actually make any sense. So if we click on manual, what this does, this panel actually is controlling what the rollers do. So they should really call this the roller page is what they should do. Okay, so they've got some options here. And yes, the chair talks to you. And it has like kneading and sink and knocking out. So what do all these things mean? Okay, so what kneading means is that you have got these rollers here, and it's just going back and forth. You see there? It's going back and forth, like this kind of action, okay? So that's kneading, okay? Now, the way this works is that when you put it on whole, so the rollers will move all the way back and forth. So this one will go back and forth. That's whole. But now suppose you want to do like this particular part in your back. Well, what you need to do is you need to wait until the roller gets to that part, and then you can say point, and then it'll just stay there. But you do have to wait for the roller to actually get to that point. So that will just be one specific point. Now, if you wanted to just massage around that point, you put partial, and it'll start going up a little bit, and it'll start going down a little bit, right? Up and down, doing the kneading action. Okay, so let's go look at some of these other actions. So sink is basically just kneading, except also going up and down. So it's like kneading, but also going up and down. You can see the rollers going up and, well, they're actually vibrating is what they're doing, right, as they're going up and down, okay? And then we have knocking, which is like the kneading, except well, actually it's very much like the sink, but it is going back and forth more like this now, right? It's just pretty much. The thing is that the kneading, it goes around, and knocking, it's just going straight up and down. And in this mode, you can change the width. Like right now, the width between the rollers is very small, but you can go ahead and make the width wider, right? So you can see that it's got much wider between the rollers here. So the rollers here, versus like if you put it narrow, it like hits your spine. If you put it wider, then it'll hit the outside of your back. So you can do wide, medium, or narrow, okay? Then we have tapping. So that is basically doing the knocking, except intermittently. Really, I think that's the only difference. Just going and then we have the shiatsu mode, and that's basically just like taking two fingers and just running it up and down. It's just got the two rollers. They just move. There's one here, one there, and you can change the width. And that's all this shiatsu does, is that it just moves up and down. So if you just want a solid roller, going and rolling up and down, just like if you had two fingers, that's what the shiatsu does. Then we have the 3D shiatsu. So the 3D actually refers to when the rollers point out, right? So it's got the two fingers, but now they point, and you can change the 3D strength, so it turns how far they. Let's see here, the shiatsu. You got 3D shiatsu. Yeah, and in this particular setting, you can't actually control the 3D strength. Like in the shiatsu, you can control the 3D strength so that if you have your fingers, it's like pushing way out. So you've got 3D strength on 5. It's pushing way out and then way in. Okay, so and some of these options are not available depending on which mode you're in. So and you've got 3D shiatsu. Let's see, you can't change the 3D strength. You can also change the speed, although you can't change the speed there either. So I'm not 100% sure what the shiatsu does, but those are the controls for the rollers. Okay, you do that. If you leave it long enough, it will just go into a program, the program screen, and we'll just keep on doing that forever. Okay, so the manual massage is basically the rollers. Now adjustments, so this allows you to get into the various gravity modes. So you have 2 gravity modes. There's like one is normal gravity mode, and number 2, it's just like if you want to stand on your head pretty much. So that leans it over probably a little bit more than you should. But this also controls the massage time. So it will massage until it runs out. So I guess the maximum time is 30 minutes, so it won't actually go on forever. The maximum time you can set this thing for apparently is 30 minutes. So I don't know, if you wanted to go for an hour, that might be annoying, really. But you can kind of mix up these modes. So it's like you were in 3D shiatsu, so if you want to lie down and have that happen while you're lying down, it kind of remembers the last thing you did in the manual here. So here we go. It's going to lean back, all the way. But because it's not gripping hold of your legs, you really can't. It's not really giving you a stretch in that case. And the other things is that when it does go into 0 gravity, it's like it doesn't really sense how long your legs need to be. So you might want to just, go ahead and put the feet down so that your feet have enough room there. Another thing that this does is that it also separately moves the knees. So you can see this go up, this can go up, and this can go down. And actually, some of the massage modes actually use that to kind of stretch your calves, right? So I'm pretty sure the cheapy seat chairs cannot do this kind of motion. And so we also can separately lower the legs there, as well as raise them. Okay, so that covers the extensions and positions. And finally, we have the options, and they should call this page the airbag page, really. It's not really options. So that controls all of these airbags around here. So, for example, if you say you just want to do the shoulders, you just press shoulders, and then it will use these airbags in the side to press in on your shoulders. And you can control, the air strength of that pressure, and it also seems to be doing something with the rollers. And the shoulders and the arms are linked. So like right now, I can feel these arm airbags do that. So if you just want to massage your arms, that's the setting that you would use. And then we have so it's combining things. So it's doing the 3D shiatsu, which means it's doing the 3D shiatsu rollers with the bags. So it kind of like adds on to whatever you were doing. So let's once again, options is the bags. So you can see what just the back bags do. So these are these two large bags right here, which are inflating and deflating. Then you have the hips. So this will extend down, and these things extend out quite far. It's like when the shoulder pin are pinning your shoulders down, it's like, some strong guy is literally pushing your shoulders together. It's quite strong. So same with the hips here. And then we have the legs, the leg airbags here. And we have foot rollers. So the number of foot rollers will depend on what you buy. So this has like 1, 2, 3, it feels like, foot rollers in here. And like the cheaper chairs, they might have 1 or so. Another feature which I don't find particularly helpful is the heating. So I've tried turning this up to maximum, and it's like, barely gets warm. You can barely feel it. It would like heat up this area and parts of the leg, but clearly is not very effective in the heat. So let's see, we're trying to blow up the legs here. When the legs blow up, it is quite firm. So now, one interesting thing about this when you're using the chair is that sometimes, it's supposed to only grab a hold of one arm or the other, so that you only have one arm. So you always have one arm free, so that if something weird goes on and you need to answer the phone or something, you can stop it, which you would do by pressing the stop button. And then it would reset, or you can say pause or turn it off. But sometimes it will grab a hold of both arms, and you'll be stuck there for a little bit while it does it. Like the HyperFlex will grab hold of both arms, and as it's leaning back. And if you need to suddenly get out of the chair while it's doing that, you'll be stuck. But not for long, but it can be a little disconcerting. But most of the other massage programs that this thing provides will let you go. Now it has all these different programs here, and quite honestly, I really can't tell the difference between any of these, really. The only one that is special is the HyperFlex. It's the only program that will go into the stretch mode. But all the rest of these, I don't know, couldn't really tell too much of a difference. Okay, so we have covered the auto mode, the manual mode, which I said is actually the roller mode, and the adjustments mode, which is actually the angles and lengths of everything, and then the options mode, which is the airbag setting. So another feature is that we do have a Bluetooth sound system here. Although for me it's a little disappointing, it's a little bit tinny, but it is fairly loud, and it's really nice to be able to listen to your music without wearing headphones and have it at full stereo. But the stereo system could be a little bit stronger. If you have a phone, there's a USB jack here for charging, and also there's a wireless charger here, although it doesn't really work with my phone on my case because I guess my case has got too much stuff on it, so it doesn't really charge when I stick it on there. But if you put it on without the case, then it works. It's just not the best wireless charger. Okay, but I think that does it for my review of the Daiwa Supreme Hybrid massage chair. And so if you have any comments, questions, let me know. But that will do it for this video. Thanks.